After 70, do this to live to 100 to 5 habits from the world's oldest people. Have you ever caught yourself staring out the window thinking, how did time fly by so fast? One moment you're raising kids, working full-time, going from one task to the next, and the next you're in your 70s, maybe wondering what the next chapter should look like. And if you've ever thought, is this as good as it gets? I've got some exciting news for you. It's not over. In fact, it could be the beginning of your best years yet. Aging doesn't have to mean slowing down or losing out. It can mean getting wiser, stronger, and yes, healthier. You've made it this far, and you have more power than you think to shape what the next 10, 20, even 30 years look like. So let me ask you, do you want to live to 100? Not just live, but thrive? Because it's possible. All over the world, people are not only reaching 100, but doing so with energy, clarity, and purpose. In this video, we're going to explore 5 simple but powerful habits inspired by the world's oldest, healthiest people. These aren't fads or extreme routines. They're time-tested practices from places like Okinawa in Japan, Sardinia in Italy, and Nicoya in Costa Rica, where folks in their 90s are still gardening, dancing, and walking with a smile on their face. These habits could be the key to your vitality, not just in years added to your life, but life added to your years. Let's start with the first habit, and this one might surprise you. The world's longest living people move naturally. That's right. Not in a gym, not on a treadmill, and not with a fancy personal trainer. They just move all day long. They garden, sweep, walk, bend, climb stairs, and stay on their feet without overthinking it. For many of us, movement starts to feel like a chore after 70, especially if we've got aches and pains or feel like we've slowed down. But the secret isn't in doing more, it's in doing a little often. Let's say you love tending your plants, that's movement. Getting up to tidy your living room, reaching for that cup on the top shelf, walking down the street to chat with a neighbor, that's movement too. The key is to avoid sitting for long stretches. Even standing up every 20 minutes to stretch your arms or do a light march in place can make a real difference. You don't have to run marathons to age well, you just have to keep your body engaged. Think of movement as your medicine. The more you use your muscles, the more you tell your body, hey, I still need you strong and capable. And guess what? Your body listens. So tomorrow morning, before you sit down with your coffee, take a few minutes to stretch your arms toward the sky. Walk to the mailbox slowly and deliberately. Do a few ankle circles while watching your favorite show. Tiny steps, every day. That's what adds up to vitality. Now let's talk about food, not diets or restrictions, but something deeper and more joyful. The second habit the world's healthiest elders share is a way of eating with intention. And I don't just mean what's on their plate, but how they approach meals. In Okinawa, they follow a saying, hara hachi bu, which means eat until you're 80% full. That little bit of restraint gives your body time to register fullness and avoid overloading the system. It's a gentle discipline, and it's surprisingly effective. Eating slowly, savoring your food, and stopping before you're stuffed gives your digestion a break, and supports your energy levels too. But it's not just how much you eat, it's what you eat. In the blue zones, those rare regions where people routinely live past 100, meals are centered around vegetables, beans, nuts, fruits, and whole grains. Meat is used more like a side note than the main event. And processed foods? Almost non-existent. Instead, you'll find lentil stews, sweet potatoes, fresh herbs, olive oil, and warm homemade soups. Meals aren't rushed or eaten in front of a screen. They're enjoyed, often shared with family, neighbors, and friends. Here's a simple idea. Try starting one meal a day with something plant-based. A handful of walnuts with your breakfast, a salad with lunch, or maybe a vegetable stir-fry at dinner. You don't have to change everything overnight. Small tweaks can shift your entire relationship with food. Make it colorful, make it tasty, and most importantly, make it joyful. Food is fuel, yes, but it's also tradition, connection, and care. When you feed your body well, you're giving it the strength to keep going strong, and telling it, I'm not done yet. And if we're talking about fuel for the body, we also need to talk about fuel for the soul. That brings us to the third habit, and it might just be the most important one, having a sense of purpose. In every Blue Zone community, elders wake up each morning with something meaningful to do, something that gives their day structure, joy, and direction. In Okinawa, they call it ikigai, which roughly translates to a reason for being. In Nicoya, it's called plan de vida. These people don't retire from life. They still tend to the garden, care for grandchildren, teach younger generations, share wisdom, or simply help prepare meals for the community. They feel needed, and that's a powerful feeling, especially as we age. So, let me ask you, what gives you purpose these days? Is it your family? Your faith? A hobby you love? A neighbor who counts on your smile? It doesn't have to be big or grand. Even watering your plants, writing letters, volunteering a few hours a week, or reading to your grandkids can reignite that sense of meaning. Your life matters and it continues to matter, especially now. The world still needs your light, your laugh, your story. If you've ever felt like you're just going through the motions, it's not too late to shift gears. Purpose is what gets us out of bed in the morning, what keeps our minds sharp and our hearts full. It's what makes us feel alive, and people who feel alive tend to live longer. Funny how that works, isn't it? Now that we've talked about moving naturally, eating with intention, and living with purpose, let's keep this momentum going. Now that we've covered the importance of moving naturally, eating with intention, and living with purpose, let's dive into the next powerful habit. One that can have a huge impact on your health and longevity. It's all about stress management. In today's world, stress is often seen as a normal part of life, but in the blue zones, it's treated as something that should be minimized. People in these regions don't have stress-free lives. They certainly deal with challenges. But what they do differently is manage stress in a way that keeps their minds and bodies healthier for longer. The secret is in their daily practices of relaxation and reflection. Take a moment and think about your typical day. How often do you take time to pause, breathe, and just be? In the blue zones, people often engage in practices like taking naps, meditating, praying, or simply sitting outside and enjoying the natural surroundings. In fact, it's common to see people in Sardinia taking a quiet moment to themselves after lunch, or in Okinawa, where elders sit together and reflect on their lives and their community. But here's the thing. Relaxation doesn't just mean lying down and doing nothing. It's about finding moments of calm throughout the day. Whether it's taking a walk in the park, practicing deep breathing while waiting for your morning coffee, or even just pausing to appreciate the sunset, these small moments of stillness lower your stress levels and allow your body to recharge. A great way to start this habit is to set aside a few minutes each day to breathe deeply and clear your mind. It could be right after breakfast or just before you go to bed. Find a quiet spot, sit comfortably, and focus on your breath. Take deep, slow breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Try to let go of any tension in your body, even if it's just for 5 minutes. This simple practice has been shown to reduce cortisol levels, which helps your body recover and rejuvenate. As you continue to build this habit of relaxation, remember that it doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. The key is consistency. Try to find your version of calm, whether that's yoga, journaling, or simply closing your eyes and breathing deeply for a few minutes. It's a small shift that makes a big difference in how your body responds to life's stresses. Next, let's talk about a habit that's just as important: social connections. The world's longest living people don't just live long. They also live well because they maintain deep, meaningful relationships with the people around them. These people understand the importance of community, friendship, and family. In places like Sardinia and Nicoya, elders are almost always surrounded by loved ones, whether they're enjoying meals together, tending to gardens, or simply having a chat. The act of staying socially connected doesn't just fill the heart. It has real, measurable benefits for your health too. Studies have shown that people with strong social connections have a lower risk of mental decline, depression, and even chronic diseases. It's not about having dozens of friends or attending every social event. It's about the quality of those relationships. Are you surrounded by people who lift you up, make you laugh, and offer support when you need it? Those relationships matter more than you might think. But it's not just about family or close friends. In many Blue Zone communities, neighbors are considered part of the family. There's a sense of belonging, a feeling that you're part of something bigger than yourself. People in these regions regularly check in on each other, help out with tasks, and share their stories. This sense of connection creates a safety net that can reduce the feelings of isolation and loneliness that so many seniors experience. So, how can you build stronger connections? Start by reaching out to those around you. It could be something as simple as calling a friend you haven't spoken to in a while or joining a local club that interests you. If you enjoy gardening, maybe there's a neighbor who would appreciate the company while planting flowers. If you love reading, you could start a book club. The key is to find opportunities to engage with others in ways that feel natural to you. And remember, you don't have to be the one who always initiates the connection. In fact, research suggests that being receptive to others is just as important. Be open to conversation, invite others to join in activities, and allow yourself to be part of a community. This brings us to another powerful habit practiced by the oldest people in the world: having a balanced mindset. It might sound a little abstract, but it's one of the most crucial factors in aging well. People in the blue zones tend to have a very positive outlook on life, especially when it comes to aging. They view growing older as a natural part of life, not something to fear or resist. In Okinawa, they have a word called ikigai, which we touched on earlier, your reason for being. But there's another word you might hear often there, uemaru. It's about having a supportive, balanced mindset that integrates community and self. It's not just about doing things for yourself. It's about finding joy in service to others. When you're able to balance your own needs with the needs of those around you, it fosters a sense of fulfillment and contentment. You might be thinking, how do I keep a balanced mindset when life feels overwhelming? The answer lies in perspective. Instead of seeing aging as a time of decline, look at it as a time for growth, wisdom, and new opportunities. Look for the positives in each day even when things aren't perfect. Try to focus on what you can control, your attitude, your relationships, your habits, and let go of things that are out of your hands. This balanced mindset doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is always okay. It's about embracing your situation and choosing to find the good in it, even on tough days. It's the kind of mindset that helps you bounce back from difficulties, knowing that each day is a new opportunity for growth. Now that we've covered stress management, social connections, and mindset, we're getting closer to the final habit that makes all the difference. But before we jump into that, I want to remind you that all of these habits don't have to be implemented at once. Start with 1 or 2 and build over time. Small, consistent changes lead to lasting transformation. When you reach a certain age, you start to realize that the way you begin and end your day matters more than ever. You're no longer rushing out the door to make it to work or chasing after young children. Life slows down just enough for you to notice the little things. The way the sunlight filters through the kitchen window in the morning, or the comfort of a quiet evening routine that grounds you. And that brings us to the final habit that many of the world's longest living people share. They follow daily rhythms that honor their natural energy and rest cycles. In places like Ikaria, Greece, and Loma Linda, California, people tend to follow gentle, structured routines. They wake up with purpose, they move throughout the day, and, perhaps most importantly, they make rest a non-negotiable part of life. Many still take short naps in the afternoon not because they're lazy but because they respect the rhythm of their bodies. That balance between activity and rest is what keeps them resilient. Now, I know for some, sleep becomes more elusive with age. Maybe you wake up in the middle of the night or feel restless just as it's time to wind down. That's okay, it's common. But the solution isn't to fight your body. Instead, it's about creating an environment and routine that invites rest. Think about dimming the lights an hour before bed, turning off the TV, maybe playing some soft music or doing a few light stretches. Drinking a warm, caffeine-free tea. Letting your body know gently that it's time to rest and restore. Your sleep routine doesn't need to be complicated, just consistent. That regularity, over time, tells your internal clock when it's time to be alert and when it's time to recover. And that restoration is vital. During sleep, your brain clears out waste, your muscles repair, your heart rate lowers. It's the ultimate refresh button. It's not just sleep for the sake of sleep. It's sleep that sets the stage for vitality. But let's go even deeper than habits for a moment. Because underneath all the movement, nutrition, purpose, connection, and rest, there's something more powerful driving these long-lived people. It's their attitude toward life. A quiet kind of optimism. A belief that life is worth showing up for no matter the aches, the changes, or the years. And that right there is the real magic. It's not just what they do, it's how they approach it all. They laugh. They forgive. They stay hopeful. They don't dwell too long on regrets. They focus on what they can control, how they treat others, how they nourish themselves, how they spend their time. You won't find many centenarians obsessing over every wrinkle or every missed opportunity. They tend to live in the now. They see life as a gift, even with its imperfections. And this mindset is perhaps the most beautiful secret of all. You might be thinking, well, it's easy for them. They live in beautiful places, they're surrounded by family, they have traditions that support all this. And yes, that's true. But here's what matters. You don't need to live in a blue zone to create your own version of it. You can bring those habits, that spirit, into your own life, right where you are. It starts with the choices you make today. Start by asking yourself, what brings me joy? What gives my days meaning? Who can I connect with this week? Where can I find 5 minutes of peace today? These questions may seem small, but your answers can shape your future. And here's the thing, none of this needs to be perfect. No one's expecting you to transform your entire lifestyle overnight. You don't need to eat like a monk, exercise like an athlete, or become a Zen master. What you do need is consistency. A little movement every day. A bit more color on your plate. A few deeper breaths. A call to an old friend. A moment of stillness before bed. These are the building blocks of a vibrant life. You might not always feel like doing it. Some days will feel heavier than others. But if you can commit to just one or two of these practices each day, even imperfectly, you're already moving in the right direction. And it's that forward motion, that decision to keep growing, that puts you in the same league as the world's most extraordinary elders. It's not too late. Not by a long shot. In fact, some of the healthiest habits of people in their 90s and 100s didn't start until they were in their 70s. That's right. Some began eating better later in life. Some reconnected with old friends, started volunteering, picked up new hobbies, or began walking more regularly only after retirement. Longevity isn't about how early you start. It's about starting and sticking with it. Think about that for a second. That means you can start today. Right now. You can make a decision this moment to turn your next chapter into one of strength, purpose, and joy. And it doesn't have to be lonely or overwhelming. Because as we've seen, aging well isn't about going it alone. It's about connecting to people, to nature, to rhythm, and to purpose. So as we wrap up, I want you to take a deep breath and remind yourself that you've already come so far. You've survived storms. You've raised families. You've lived through heartbreaks, triumphs, quiet mornings, and sleepless nights. And you're still here, stronger than you know, wiser than ever, and more capable than you may believe. The habits we've talked about today aren't just ideas from faraway places, they're tools you can use starting now. They've helped people across the world live not just longer, but better. And they can do the same for you. If you found this helpful or inspiring, I'd love to hear from you. Share in the comments, what's one habit you're going to try this week? What helps you feel young at heart? And if you haven't already, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more uplifting, practical tips to help you thrive at any age. Thank you for spending this time with me. It's a gift to share this journey with you. Remember, aging is not a decline, it's an evolution. A chance to keep discovering, keep loving, and keep shining. Here's to living not just longer, but fuller, brighter, and better. At any age. Especially after 70. You've got this.